noticed that with exception of that last mention, you use the term government schools. And yeah, I try to do that as well. Sometimes I slip and say public school, just like you did the one time. But why do you prefer that term?
So I wrote a book. Well, I'll share the story this way. So I'm just grabbing the book right here.
Mhm.
41 years ago, the Reagan administration published a report that followed from a group called the National Commission on Excellence in Education. And the group spent about 18 months going around the country trying to understand how are we doing with education in America in terms of the curriculum, the assessments and test scores, pedagogy, training for teachers, all the rest. Right? It was a month, or excuse me, a year and a half. They do this review. They publish a report, and the name of the report was "A Nation at Risk." And
Mm.
in the report, among other things, they said that America's educational foundations are being overwhelmed by a rising tide of mediocrity. And that if a foreign government had attempted to impose upon America the very mediocre educational performance that now exists today, we might have viewed it as an act of war. As it stands, we've allowed it to happen to ourselves. That was 41 years ago they said that. So last year, a buddy of mine, Corey DeAngelis, and I put together a book called Mediocrity. So here's Lady Liberty drowning. There's a COVID mask floating around in there. Some
Oh
other things.
gosh, no. Okay.
And so the idea was for the 40th anniversary of that report, which was in April of 2023, we published this book, Mediocrity, which has 40 chapters, each of which goes through the many problems with the government schools. But to answer your question, in the very introduction, we say, look, most people call these public schools, they used to be called factory schools. Decades ago, the common term for these schools was factory schools because they were seen in a positive sense of training kids to have good factory jobs and so forth in a bygone era. And so from our perspective, these are government schools. It's government money, it's government instruction, it's government top-down curriculum, committees and school boards. It's all political. It's government controlled. And can you really expect a government to teach the rising generation anything that is unflattering or threatening to that very government? I think no. So
No.
we thought it was important to, really kind of clarify, let's not use these flowery terms that mask what's really going on. If you want to surrender your children to the government for indoctrination during their most intellectually formative years, more power to you.